Ladies and gentlemen, good evening, or good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are. Welcome to this edition of StrikePimp TV. My name is PJ Stopworth. Alongside me, Chad Bergmeyer. Hey now. We've got a great set of fights coming up in Cedar Rapids on October 6th at the Hawkeye Downs Expo Center. This card is stacked, brother.
Last time we were at Hawkeye Downs, it was absolutely packed. We had a great night of fights, you know, and this one certainly looks like it could live up to every bit of the January event.
Okay, on the short notes, October 6th, Hawkeye Downs Expo Center, Cedar Rapids. More details on that to come, but I want to get to this fight card because I've never seen this before. In all the years I've been announcing MMA, all the years I've been doing your shows, I have never seen a fight start with a female bout.
You know, I think it's something we're going to try this time.
Yeah?
And, you know it's something special when you got to start off with a female bout. Instead of putting it later on in the card, we're starting with it. So you know it's going to be a good card.
This one features Cassandra Hill versus Chloe Bonner. Cassandra Hill out of Newton, Iowa. Chloe, hard drive member in Cedar Rapids.
Yeah, she's been training a little bit and, finally decided to take the leap of faith and jump in the cage. And Cassandra is going to also make her debut the same night against her. So it's going to be a lot of fun to start off the show with a nice female bout.
Well, it's always interesting to start the night with a couple of new incoming fighters, new fighters, people who don't have a whole lot of experience in the cage. And a women's bout is going to make it just that much more interesting. As I stumble on to fight to Eric Tusing and Jeremy Schroeder, this looks like a good one. I mean, these guys, they both have a few fights on their record.
Right, exactly. Eric, he's got 2 or 3 bouts. He's coming from Waterloo, and he's going to be taking on Jeremy Schroeder. He's had a few bouts that were actually in Wisconsin. Mm-hmm. So, they're both looking to make their mark in our event, and neither one have ever fought an Iowa Challenge, and, this is going to be their Iowa Challenge debut inside the Megagon. And
Schroeder, I should mention, is a member of one of the other big Cedar Rapids teams, Team DTF.
Right, exactly. This card is going to feature several of the top gyms from the area. Certainly Hard Drive has been mentioned, DTF, Down to Fight. Those guys have been mentioned. We're also going to see American Pit Fighters later on in the card. So, a lot of really good gyms are represented. John Williams' kickboxing gym out of Newton in Baxter area. Those guys are going to be there as well.
Well, on fight number 3 on the card, a couple of new fighters. Maybe you know a little bit more about these guys. Donnie Horner and Cameron Olson. Fight number 3 on the night.
Yeah, we're gonna get into this bout at the 205-pound mark. Both guys, like you mentioned, are brand new. Cameron also trains in Cedar Rapids, and Donnie came to us from with Dimitri Boyer, who we'll see later on in the card as well. So looking forward to a couple of good 205ers. That weight class has always been the smallest, even all the way up to the UFC. I mean, everywhere in between, it's always hard to find 205-pound fighters. Luckily on this particular event, we've got like 3 of those bouts. So.
Good deal. And what we're talking about is Iowa Challenge 71. It's Saturday, October 6th at the Hawkeye Downs Expo Center in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. We're going to open up the doors at 6:30, and we got a stacked card of fights, so we might be, ringing the bell a bit early. We got the tickets out at Nutrisport, at the box office at Hawkeye Downs, and you can always go to CageTix.com.
Yeah, CageTix makes it so easy. I mean, obviously, if you can't get into one of the locations, the box office at Hawkeye Downs, or also to Nutrisport, order them online. CageTix, CageTix.com. Get in there, click on Iowa Challenge 71, pick your favorite fighter that you want to support, and go buy your ticket. It's as easy as that.
It's easy as that. You can do it at home in your underwear. However, we will require you to dress fully when you come to the show on October 6th. The Megagon's going to be there. Best cage in the Midwest, hands down.
Oh, absolutely.
Full production. It's going to be a great show. All the details at IowaChallengeMMA.com if you want to know more. More on the fight card as we get to bout number 4. We got Nick Cox and Drew Mahaffey, another team member of DTF fighting, and Nick Cox coming out of Baxter, Iowa, I believe, and he's fought with us for a few times.
Yeah. Nick has fought a few times for us. He's kind of bounced around 135, 145 weight class. I think he feels more comfortable coming in at 45, and Drew's going to be certainly welcoming him at that weight class as Drew makes his promotional debut for us as well.
It's been a long while since Drew Mahaffey's been even fighting as well.
Right, absolutely.
Well, good to see him back in the cage. On fight number 5, Ray Hedges and Cody Hennis. Hedges had a rough time last time.
Right, he got put up against Dimitri Dimitri Boyer in his last at the last event in Cedar Rapids, and it didn't really last a whole long time. Dimitri was a good wrestler, took him down. That was pretty much the end of the fight. This fight here with Hedges and Hennis, I mean, these guys are both stand-up fighters. They both like to brawl. So this is certainly an exciting matchup for us to have.
Well, I'm looking forward to that. That's fight number 5 on the card, October 6th, Hawkeye Downs, Iowa Challenge 71. And we move to bout number 6, and we've got Saku Moore out of Des Moines, and we were just talking about him,
right.
Dimitri Boyer.
Right. This
is an interesting matchup.
Yes, it is. Saku actually competed in an Extreme Challenge a few years back. It was one of those events where I think you and I had two events on the same night. He competed in Osceola, Iowa. We were in Quincy, Illinois. So we didn't get to see him fight. We heard a lot of good reports about him. Tough kid, likes to brawl. He's fought a little bit all over the Midwest, and he's going to be facing Dimitri Boyer, like you mentioned. Boyer's a good wrestler. Wrestles at Coe College, originally from the Eddyville, Oskaloosa area, also where we do events at. And Dimitri's just a really good wrestler, 3-0 fighter. This is an exciting fight as well to see.
I was going to say he has yet to lose a match, and this should be an exciting fight. And it's good to see more back in the Iowa Challenge cage as well, and that's going to be a good one. I mean, Dimitri Boyer, boy, he's something.
Exciting stuff.
He's proven to be something special so far.
This will certainly be that turning point to see if he's going to be able to continue to advance in his level of competition, or if he's going to kind of stay where he's at. This will be a good matchup to see where he's at.
Looking forward to that one. Next on the card, lucky fight number 7, Richard Pence Jr. out of Burlington, and Jeff DeCamp from Team Down to Fight in Cedar Rapids. And man, Richard Pence, I've seen him a couple times. He's a scrapper. Yeah. He does not give up easily, and that's going to prove to be an interesting matchup with Jeff DeCamp.
Yeah, this is a very exciting fight. I mean, this is another one of those. I mean, I hate to keep saying it, this is a good match, this is a good match. I mean, this really is. This is a solid fight. DeCamp is one of those guys. I can remember this guy doing an early kickboxing match, and this guy had blood all over his face, and his nose was bleeding, and he just kept coming forward. I mean, you'd have to hit that guy with a cement block to knock him down and keep him, stop him from coming towards you. Richard Pence, I mean, this guy, he's always surprising. He comes out, he submits guys, and he knocks them out, and he just likes to fight. So this is going to be definitely one of those that could be fight of the night. It's an exciting one also.
It is lucky fight number 7. It's a great matchup, and two guys that just don't give up always makes for an incredibly entertaining bout. Next on the card, John Steuffen, Jordan Sanford. This is going to be an interesting match because we've never seen Steuffen before.
Right, exactly, and that's the thing about it. When you've never seen a fighter fight, you don't know a whole lot about them, and they can tell you that they're tough. And I've had 50 street fights, never lost, blah blah blah. Until they actually get inside the cage, until they're in the Megagon, you just don't know what to expect. We saw Sanford in his debut, his amateur debut back in July. Very athletic kid, looks to be very physically strong, and he came out, swinging for the fences. Seemed to have decent wrestling as well. So this fight, intrigues us a lot too because it is at 185, and that's another one of those weight classes that are kind of hard to fill as well.
It's going to, I mean, we keep saying it, but that's going to be a great fight.
Yeah.
And this card is just stacked so far.
We haven't even hit the main card yet.
And we haven't even gotten to the main part of the card, but we're talking about fight number 9 now. Devin Gonzalez, Team DTF out of CR, and he's facing the ever-elusive TBA.
The TBA, the guy's 54-7 online.
He's not.
Look him up.
You're kidding. There is a MMA listing for TBA.
TBA on mixedmartialarts.com is 54-7. Now, he probably fought a half a dozen times this weekend, but if you look him up, he's 54-7.
Well, he's going to have a challenge. Devin Gonzalez really looked impressive in his last bout.
Yeah. Devin's a tough kid. He came to us a few months ago. He lost by armbar to Zach Mills. Very controversial. He kind of yelled out with about 5 seconds left or 2 seconds left in the round, something like that. Lost his promotional debut. Came back, had a great, solid fight against Steven Spur. The viewers out there, I'm sure, saw it on KCRG 9.2 when it showed, and that was a solid win for him. So now to come back and fight again, we're looking forward to some really good things with Devin.
Well, that brings up an interesting point. We were just talking about fight number 9, so let's talk about 9.2, KCRG. They are going to be airing the fights on a tape-delayed basis. Do you know when they are going to be broadcast?
They moved it along really quick last time. I think that they showed it like the Wednesday after the event. At our last event in July. So if I had to guess, I would say it's probably going to be a few days after this event on October 6th.
So once again, KCRG 9.2 is going to be putting the Iowa Challenge fights on air, actual broadcast stuff.
Right.
The big leagues.
Absolutely.
So you get to watch the action live and in person October 6th, and you get to come back and
be seen on TV.
Be seen on TV. Fight number 10, real quick. Leonard Lant, Heath Bailey. This is going to be interesting because Leonard Lant, he's got those. I mean, he's got a reach on him.
You know, that's what makes this fight so interesting. Lant is going to be a guy that wants to keep it on his feet, throw punches, you know, use the push kicks, try and keep Heath away from him. And Heath is going to want to try and get inside, take him down, grind him out, and, you know, wear him out and everything like that. So I mean, it's another one of those matchups that's very, very interesting to see. I know we were talking earlier. I mean, this has got to be one of the picks for fight of the night.
That's true. I mean, they're both great fighters, and you're matching up contrasting styles. That always makes for a great match.
Yeah.
I tell you what, 10 fights. Most promotions stop there. Not Iowa Challenge 71. We have 7 more fights to talk about when we come back on StrikePimp TV. And we're back with StrikePimp MMA TV. My name is PJ Stoppleworth alongside Chad Bergmeyer.
I'm going to get you with that uppercut one of these times.
I'm learning to cover, though. You're going to come out with a spinning back fist, and everything's going to get messed up. We're talking about Iowa Challenge 71 at the Cedar Rapids Hawkeye Downs Expo Center, or rather the Hawkeye Downs Expo Center in Cedar Rapids. It's October 6th. Doors open at 6:30. Tickets are on sale now at the box office there at Hawkeye Downs at Nutrisport, or they can go to
CageTix.com. Feel free to get your tickets online at CageTix. It's really simple. You just get on there, you select Iowa Challenge 71, you pick your favorite fighter, pick out whichever ticket you want, and you're guaranteed to have a ticket.
And also we'll be doing the weigh-ins on the 5th, October 5th, Friday, October 5th. That makes sense. At Cocktails and Company in Cedar Rapids. We start the weigh-ins about 7 o'clock. Stop on by and check out, see how your fighters weigh in, view the final matchups, and get ready for a great night of fight on the 6th. We've already covered the first 10 fights. We're on to number 11. The golden ticket, Willie Wonick, Daniel DeCamp. This is going to be another really good fight.
Yeah, this one's fun. I know that these are 2 of your favorite guys that you like to watch. Now we're going to put them against each other. Both guys are looking to get back into title contention, and DeCamp is standing in Wonick's way. Wonick is standing in DeCamp's way. We're just going to have them fight each other.
And this was a fight that was scheduled to happen before.
Right.
It didn't come together for one reason or another. And this time, they're going to get it on.
Right, exactly. I believe the last time they were scheduled to fight, I think Daniel got injured. Something happened there, and his brother stepped in to take his place. So Jeff ended up fighting Willie. Another great fight. And, this one's going to be fun to watch.
It's going to be an incredible one. Daniel DeCamp and Willie Wonick. That's fight number 11 on the card for Iowa Challenge 71. All the fights happening in the Megagon. It's easily the best cage in the Midwest.
Oh, yeah. You put the circle cage inside of the venue, the catwalk around the outside, makes it great for the ring girl to walk around the outside of the cage. Keeps less traffic inside the cage, and it looks nice. They've got a great lighting system. It's definitely top of the line. Anywhere in the Midwest, we'd put this cage up against it. It is very nice.
Well, another great fight that's happening inside the Megagon on October 6th will be fight number 12 on the card. Terry the Squirrel Brinson with Team Reed, and she is going up against Jackie Cuddeback, who made an incredibly impressive debut at the last show in Cedar Rapids.
Yeah. This is another one of those very fun fights to watch. This should certainly be a crowd favorite. We've seen Terry for a little while now. She as you mentioned, the squirrel. She's squirrely, all right. She runs around that cage. She throws punches, kicks. She fights pretty much wherever the fight takes her. And Jackie, in her last bout, she got taken down, bounced right back up. Landed some really clean shots on her opponent, finished her opponent, fairly quick.
Yeah.
A tough Sam Schumacher. And now these 2 girls are going to go at it. And, I could certainly see the winner of this coming out as a contender for the title.
It will be an interesting one, and that's the second women's bout on the card. Terry the Squirrel Brinson versus Jackie Cuddeback from Team Hard Drive MMA in Cedar Rapids. Awesome fight. Another awesome fight. As we go to the lucky number 13, out of the Madhouse in Quincy, the nutcase, Jake Allmeter, facing Zach Mills from Team Hard Drive in Cedar Rapids.
That's kind of funny that when you said that, it just kind of brought it up. The nutcase coming out of the Madhouse. Yeah. That's just kind of funny. I don't know how if that nickname came to Jake. You know what? I think he's had that nickname longer than the Madhouse has probably been around.
Yeah.
So he's always kind of been a nutcase. And Zach, Big Z. I mean, this guy. He loves to box. He loves jiu-jitsu. Jake Allmeter loves grappling, loves to take you down, try and pound you out. So in Jake's pro debut, he's going to be facing Zach Mills, who has won previous professional bout. And, you know, lucky number 13, it certainly could be.
And, you know, and it's always, you know, entertaining to me when you see good fighters like Jake and Zach with contrasting styles.
Right.
And they both have something to prove. I mean, Zach wants to, you know, put a decent mark on his pro record, and Jake is looking to make a good debut on his end. Should be an incredible fight as we go to number 14. Pat King versus Chris Lane. Chris, member of Team DTF.
Yeah, exactly. And Pat King comes to us from Joe Pearson's camp. What do they call it? The Triangles. There's some sort of nickname. The Strangler's Playground.
The Strangler's Playground.
That's what it is.
That comes from Joe Pearson's nickname, the Triangular Strangler, which tells me just off the bat, Pat King's going to know a few things about subs.
He probably likes jiu-jitsu a little bit.
A little bit.
We actually saw him fight a little while back in Quincy. He fought one of the toughest fighters to come out of that area, Blake Bacom. We saw Pat submit him, you know, fairly quick with a standing guillotine, I believe is what it was. So, you know, this guy's certainly coming with some good amateur experience. He's coming with it from a good camp, you know, as is Chris. Chris is a good wrestler, a good grappler, and, you know, another one of those style make matchups. This is certainly one of those. Chris
Lane, a good wrestler. Pat King, submission specialist. Going to be a great matchup. As we move to fight number 15 on the card, we're seeing John Psycho Duvall and Derek, the Cedar Rapids Psycho Laufer.
The Psycho versus the Psycho. That's pretty much a good way to sum that one up. I mean, you know, and Laufer he's always exciting to watch. He always comes to fight, as does Duvall. Derek has certainly increased his popularity. He's got a great local following now. He's the leader of his team, being DTF, and you know, he's just starting out his professional career. I mean, you know, he had a tough run, a good run as an amateur. He fought all the top guys at 45, 55 in that weight class. You know, and he finished, you know, well above 500, but he did have some tough fights as amateur. And now he's, you know, I think this is his third pro bout. You know, he's certainly looking to continue with a good record.
One of the things I like about Derek is, you know, his nickname is the Cedar Rapids Psycho, but his personality is anything but. He's one of the nicest guys you ever want to meet. I mean, I think one of the reasons he has the following that he does is he's such a nice, genuine guy outside of the cage. And that looks like just another really good matchup.
Definitely. Should be a lot of fun.
And number 16, I thought the rules prohibited it, but it looks like TBA's fighting two matches in a night, and this time facing Derek Mayman.
Yeah, we've got a couple of leads for Mayman's matchup right now. It's a little bit tougher to match up and get approved for a guy that's fought in Bellator, fought in Strikeforce. I mean, he's trained in Florida, he's trained in Cedar Rapids at Hard Drive. You know, he's been all over the place. He actually started, I don't know if many people know this or not, Derek started in my show.
Really?
He started back several years ago. He's from Denver, Iowa. He came to the Waterloo show and fought in that event. I had him go out to Davenport and compete in one of our shows out there, and then he just kind of, you know, blew up from there. So I'm really excited to see Derek compete back in our event again.
It's going to be great to see Mayman back inside the cage, and, you know, as you mentioned, fight cards are incredibly dynamic things. They tend to change, and we still have a couple of spots we got to fill, but it's going to happen as we move to what looks like the final fight on the card, which would make number 17 if you're counting, and this is for the title, the vacant Iowa Challenge belt or Extreme Challenge belt?
This is actually for the Extreme Challenge title.
Okay.
Luckily, since I matchmake for both shows,
that makes it easier.
Makes it a little bit easier for me to, you know, to kind of move things around. We've already got an Iowa Challenge champion, you know, at the 170 mark. This is going to be for the vacant Extreme Challenge title. So, you know, it's very exciting. I can see those wheels turning. You don't want to get champion versus champion.
Eventually yes, but right now, I think the important thing to say, in your main event, Stephen Mann, Lonnie Scriven. Stephen Mann has had an absolutely devastating run. And he's with American Pit Fighters out of Burlington.
Right.
And Lonnie, the Zombie Scriven, another incredibly tough fighter, and he's with Team Hard Drive.
Right, absolutely. I mean, Lonnie's amateur career, we saw him a little bit fight for us back then, and he did great. He had a great run as an amateur. Then he turned pro. You know, had some tough fights right off the bat. You know, but he certainly bounced back right away. You know, and he's on a nice little win streak as well. And Stephen has not been defeated yet as a professional. But this is his first title fight as a pro. You know, Lonnie's you know, got every bit of the experience that Stephen has. You know, this is certainly a great main event. I couldn't think of a better matchup that we could put together for this title.
And the cool thing about this is both these guys, well, they know each other.
Right.
They've seen each other fight, and they're training specifically for their opponent.
Well, and that's the special thing about this. With this high level of a matchup, and something that's going to be shown on television on KCRG 9.2. We certainly wanted to have a main event that we could really market and build. And also let these two guys know who they're fighting. More than a couple days in advance. Now, obviously, PJ, you've been around for over 10 years. You see how this sport and how this business works. I mean, you've got UFC events where they have troubles keeping the main event or keeping, a main person on the card, where they've had to go as far as cancel or postpone a show.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's tough. It's definitely tough. Anybody that thinks that they can just walk in and promote and match make a show, as soon as they get into it, and the further they go and the higher up and the higher levels that they deal with, finds out real quick that it's a lot tougher than it looks.
Well, your problem is you make it look so easy that everybody wants to give it a try.
Yeah, let's go with that one.
All right.
Like
Iowa Challenge 71. It's happening at Hawkeye Downs Expo Center in Cedar Rapids, Saturday, October 6th. The doors open at 6:30. Stat card of fights, huge card of fights. You can get your tickets at Complete Nutrition, or at, at Nutrisport, at the Hawkeye Downs box office,
right,
or at CageTix.com. The Megagon will be the combat surface, and it just looks to be an incredible night of fights, filmed to be broadcast on KCRG 9.2. Complete details, latest fight card and more at IowaChallengeMMA.com. One more thing, fight of the night. Who do you think?
Jeez, why do you have to ask me that now? There's about 17 fights, I think, that could be fight of the night. I don't know. All I can say is that weigh-ins are at Cocktails, along with the after party. We'll do the awards there. Okay. And we will be presenting the fight of the night, submission of the night, knockout of the night, immediately after the show at Cocktails.
So the official presentation of the awards happens at Cocktails and Company at the after fight party. But unlike you, I brought my gonads today, and I'm going to make a call.
Nice.
And I'm going to say that the fight of the night is going to be Terry Brinson and Jackie Cotterback. They are both two impressive brawlers, and I see them just energizing Hawkeye Downs from floor to ceiling that night.
It's going to be a lot of fun. That's probably on my top list of 17 bouts that I do want to see that night.
It is definitely in the top 17. We got to wrap it up. It's StrikePimp MMA TV. He's Chad Bergmeyer.
For it.
Slow on Defense is PJ Stoppelworth. October 6th, Iowa Challenge 71. We'll see you there.